So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about dealing with very large waves of grief that I know hit us sometimes frequently, sometimes occasionally. But I just want to give you an idea of how I deal with these enormous, almost overbearing waves of grief. And before I go into talk about that, please just click the little subscribe button, which you'll see below me, and then click the bell icon next to it, and you'll be notified when these videos go live. So I want to share with you a little story of what happened to me last week that brought on probably the largest wave of grief I've had for probably 5 or 6 years, I'd say now. So at this point, Claire has been gone for just over 9 years. And she died when my children were in their very early teens. And I'm now seeing my kids through to their adult years alone as a single parent. And Claire is clearly not here every day. She's very obviously not here. But there are some times when her absence, at least for me, and I'm sure for other family members as well, she is conspicuously absent. It's very obvious she's not there. And one of those events happened last week. It was my youngest daughter's graduation from university, which was a truly wonderful event. It was absolutely incredible to spend the day with her, other members of the family, and to see her graduate, which was astounding. It really was a lovely day. And yet the next day, when I had time to think by myself, I was overcome with just this huge wave of grief. So many memories of when Claire and I were young, when we initially wanted children, when the kids were born, thinking about what we would do later in life when the kids had grown up, all those sorts of things. And that wave of grief was absolutely immense. And I have no shame in saying I spent the whole morning, certainly a good part of the afternoon as well, crying, literally not being able to function. And what I want to do, I just want to talk about the process of that and dealing with that. And a couple of other things happened that day. I dance, as many people that know me, I dance modern jive, and I went out dancing that night. And one friend of mine could obviously see that I wasn't in a massively great way and asked me how I was, and I mentioned what had happened in the day. And this lovely friend said, "Oh, what can we do to cheer you up?" And which is a lovely thought, which is a genuinely lovely thought that friends are thinking that way. The way I view it is there is no cheering me up. And that's not because I don't want to be happy when I'm in that wave of grief. It's because I won't say welcome those waves of grief or welcome the pain, but I'm now 100% accepting of it. It is me. It is life. It's as much part of life as waking up in the morning, eating, drinking. Grief is me. It's part of life. And if I go about my life trying to do things to avoid it, or when it's there to make me feel happier, then I am not paying respect to that grief, and I'm fighting it. I'm trying to do something to make it go away. And I think that is the real key, is when we start to fight it, to do things to make it go away, it doesn't go away. We may feel a bit better ourselves, but I think what we do is we repress it. and it sits there, and then something else happens and it bubbles up again, and it's desperately trying to get back into our life, and we repress it. And it gets to the point where we've done that so many times that it just can't contain anymore. The pressure is so great, and it explodes in an enormous wave of grief that we can't do anything about. So what I do now is, when those waves of grief hit me, I'm very fortunate. I take Wednesdays off. I allow Wednesdays to be that day. I just go, do you know what? Bring it on. Bring it on. If I need to cry all day, I will cry all day. If I need to go to bed at night and cry all night, that's what I'll do. That's accepting the emotion. This is the emotion. I'm having a feeling. I'm having an emotion. That's okay. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to try to push it away. I'm just going to say, this is it. I'm having an emotion. And I think I challenge you to give the same thing a go. When you experience those enormous waves of grief, don't fight them. Don't try to distract yourself. Don't try to push them away and repress them. Just say, oh, hello. Hello, grief. There you are again. I wondered when you'd be back. I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to sit with you. I'm going to learn something new about myself, learn something about the grief. And then I know, grief, I can say, thank you for your service today. Goodbye. And I will see you again next time, which may be in 5 years or maybe tomorrow. And I think just living life with the grief is okay. It's okay. It's life. I do hope that helps. Take care.